Hi, I'm Sandi Genovese, and welcome to this episode of the Scrapbook Showgram. Well, now that the kids are out of school, a photo puzzle makes the perfect summertime activity. And this is the photo puzzle that we're going to make today. On the front, it looks like it just might even be a greeting card. It says the Vermillion Brothers because it features photos of two boys. When I opened it up inside, you can see that here is a picture of James. And when I flex this and pull the sides down, here is his brother Nathan. So if I turn this again, I can flip this back up. This is a puzzle that you can just keep playing with. It's almost hypnotic, and trust me, your kids will absolutely love it. If I turn this over, you can see that the back side just looks blue. My understanding, I've always heard of these kinds of puzzles called Flexagons, and I think a Flexagon is two surfaces that actually end up giving you a third surface, which is how you're able to get this fun puzzle effect where you get to see James and what feels like the back side, which has nothing on it, but then by flexing it, you are able to see Nathan as well. Now, I thought it would be fun. I created this in a dimension that would work perfectly with a vertical 4x6 photo, but sometimes our favorite photos are not the vertical ones, they're horizontal. So I'm going to show you how to do both. To begin with, we need to create the actual format that all the puzzle is going to sit on top of. So you want to start first with paper that's 12 inches long by 6 inches wide. And basically, I'll set this down and show you, you want to divide this into thirds. So at 4 inches, you're going to score, come another 4 inches and score again. So you have 4 inches and 4 inches and 4 inches. Now remember, this is 6 inches tall, so this middle section will accommodate that 4x6 photo. However, notice there's one more. The two scores that we've put are here. What you want to do, you don't have to worry about measuring and scoring this one. This is just the halfway point. So if you fold your paper exactly in half, that will give you that middle fold. And it's accordion folded, so the middle fold is a mountain, and then these two outside score lines are valley folds. So that folded up, this is what you get. You have a 4-inch cover, front cover, a 4-inch back cover, and a 4-inch section in the middle that has a fold right in the section at 2 inches. So basically you've got 4 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, and 4 inches. What you'll need to do now, and you can divide your puzzle into however many pieces and shapes as you want. The simplest way when it comes to the weaving is to leave it folded, and then you're going to come in, and I measured 2 inches in and then 2 inches in. So since this length is 6 inches tall, all I have to do is measure at 2 inches and 2 inches, and that way I have a perfect 2-inch square. So I'm going to take the scissors, and I'm going to start on the mountain fold and cut through both thicknesses and cut right on that pencil line until I reach my fold, my score line, and then I'm going to stop. So I've cut the one, and I'm going to come up and I'm going to do the same thing and cut the second one along that pencil line, which is the beginning of how this puzzle is going to work. So you can see I've got those cuts that go all the way through. When I open it up, what you end up with is the folds that we've previously seen, and now you've got sections in the middle that allow you to weave paper through them. Now, I'm not going to actually use white paper, but I'm going to start with white so that you can see how well this works. It's harder to see once I switch to blue. I have strips of paper, and I started them as 6 inches by 2 inches, and then I went back on the 2-inch and I just shaved a tiny little bit off, like a 32nd of an inch. And I'm going to weave this. So I'm going to start on the top, and then I'm going to go under, and then I'm going to come up and go over. So basically I've gone over, under, over. That means that the second strip needs to do the opposite. So I'm going to start underneath, and I'll come up, and this time I'm going over, and then I'll weave it back and go underneath, so that you can really understand how this works if I show it in white. Here it is, and when I flip it like so, I can then, here it is in one position, and when I flip this down is how you get the second position. However, I don't want the white to show. I want it all to just look like the same blue background once I place my photos on top. So I am going to take the white ones out. Those were just so you could see the mechanism and really understand how it works. And I've done the same thing but with matching blue paper. So I'm going to go over, under, over with my first blue strip, and then the second blue strip I'll start under, over, under. And now I have the same exact theme, but it's much easier for those strips to disappear because they're out of the same color paper. Now I want to attach the photos, and it's easiest to attach it when it's in this form. I started, first of all, and I've already sliced this, but I've lightly stuck it back together so you can see here is the picture of James, and I've gone ahead and I'll try to maneuver this so you can see. I've sliced it right down the middle. It was a 4x6 photo. I did shave the tiniest bit off of the edge, the outside edges, just once again so the puzzle wouldn't catch as I'm folding and flipping all the various. So I started with 4x6, and maybe this 4 inch is now like a 32nd less. And then cut it exactly in half in the middle, and then I do the same thing. I'm cutting at 2 inches and again at 2 inches. So I've divided my 4x6 photo into these 2, 4, 6 puzzle pieces. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those puzzle pieces and I'm going to just attach them. I'll start with this first one. Now I always say this, you're going to want to put more adhesive, but I'm going to go ahead and place this right over the top of that first puzzle piece, and I'll go down. I'll take the next piece and I hope I'm putting enough adhesive on this so that as I move the puzzle all around it will stay together. You'd want to put plenty of adhesive. I'm just as you know, I don't lather it up with adhesive just because of the time that it takes to do that. So I'm cheating a little bit by just making it go a little bit quicker. So I'm putting it back together, but remember it's been woven in and out. So while it's going to make a solid picture of James when it's facing one direction, when it faces the other direction, it's going to be able to feature James's brother Nathan. So at this point I'm going to attach this. And I can see at this point that I've really placed, remember I said I cut a little bit off? I need to slide this over just a little bit. I'm going to move this so that it's just a little closer to that middle fold. Oops, so that it is more seamless when the whole puzzle fits together. I'll then bring up the next to the last section of James's photo for the middle portion, and it's pretty easy to align these because it's going to fit back together and make one solid picture of James. And then I'll place the adhesive on the final element so that I now have one nice solid picture of James. Now this shows him, I hope I have enough adhesive on there. This shows him in this position. When I flex it and flip this over, I now have the surface that I need in order to place the second photo. I'll bring this up and show you. This is the photo I started with of Nathan, and I wanted you to see when the photo is horizontal, it also works. I just trimmed it down into a 4-inch square, which if I bring this up, you'll see that's what this is here. And I've already done the same thing. I've sliced it down the middle and I've sliced it in the middle this way. So I have 4 puzzle pieces that are each 2 inches. For the bottom, I'm going to start with one piece that is 2 inches by 4 inches. And the reason I'm starting with it like this is because when it's solid, I can use it to journal or to title. And if I bring over my original and show you the section, you can see that what I've done here is I've taken a stencil and I've used the stencil with a white pen in order. There's how I did the bee. So I've used the stencil while this was still one sheet of paper in order to write the word boys and to add the little tag with their names, Jason and Nathan. Nathan and James. And then I'm going to cut this apart like you can see here into the same 2-inch puzzle pieces that all the other puzzle pieces are the same size. So you have to imagine with your imagination that this now says boys on there. And I'll go ahead and I'll pull off each part of Nathan's picture, and once again I'll try to use tweezers so my hands are enough out of the way that you can really see what I'm doing here. I'll do the same thing. I'll go up down, which is how I went before. Add more adhesive, add the second half of this little cutie pie, and then I'm going to come around and go back up to the top and add the remainder of the photo. And you can tuck these, you could even tuck these a little tighter together than I'm doing, just because I'm going kind of quickly. In fact, I think I'm going to move this one. I need to move it a little closer to that middle fold line so there's not so much of a seam showing there. And moving it down just a little bit as well. Oops. It's harder for me to do this with tweezers than with my fingers, so pardon my fingers if they're too much in the way. And then at this point you would also add the little section at the bottom that has the title, which in this case said boys. So I realized that I didn't stop to write boys on here, but that's what you would do, is title this and place those. And I would do the same thing. I would place these just a little bit closer together as well. It's handy that I haven't put so much adhesive on this that it lets me kind of move it around. So hopefully I have enough adhesive on there for it to actually hold together for you to see how this works. So there's James, and I flip it, and there's Nathan. And flip it back, and there's James. Flex it, and there's Nathan. It is just so much fun. Now to look at the front, the cover, it could be decorated by the boys themselves. I love leaving even a section on the inside where maybe they're going to go back with their crayons and draw or write a message, because remember, this is going to be their puzzle. For my cover, all I did was I just did some basic decorating. I started with the white band that I put along the top, and I made it black and white stripes just by gluing black 1/4-inch strips on there to create this element. The next piece is just a little narrow band of purple, and I've used my basic pencil eraser, and I've used it into a watermark ink pad in order to get what looks like polka dots. If you look at the star, I've used the same watermark ink pad to create the dots on that, and that is simply layers of, it's a green sheet with a star die cut, and I like things that kind of go off the edge. So in this case, the star, I go right off the pattern, cut off, you know, the excess that sticks out around the edges in order to get this, and then added the polka dots with the same pencil eraser, and the final element is just more of this purple paper that's raised with a little bit of foam adhesive, and I've used a white pen to handwrite the James and Nathan's last name. So that quickly and easily you can add the decoration to the cover. Remember, the beauty of making it yourself is you can make it suit exactly the photos that you have inside. So once again, when you open it up, you have this just really fun photo puzzle, and they go together quickly and easily enough that, you know, your kids, they're going to love playing with this. And once they make one, I'll bet you they're going to want to make a whole lot more.